Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Psychology Eats. So, what's eating you? Well, I just passed this homeless couple, right? So, in the area where I live, there's a hotel that the county will rent rooms for people who are homeless. And so, it's kind of like it's actually, a good resource for people to get them out of the elements, to give them a spot to stay for a minute. It's not long term, but, they can, I'm sorry if you didn't hear me, but they could go to the, to like hotels and the county will cover the cost of the hotel. Because some homeless people, they're sick too. Like, some of them have real, they have medical problems. And if you're sick, you want to rest. You want to rest somewhere where it is comfortable for you to rest. And so, anywho, sometimes some of the people from that hotel will come like on the corner and ask for money from the cars and stuff. So, I think and some people, I think a lot of people, may hand them money, or I've seen people hand them food. I do that, like, if I have waters or something like that, I'll, give to them, or usually, just money. And not all homeless people are drug addicts. Some are, many are. So, yeah, then there's that. But it made me think about my days back. Now, this video is for, some of my psychology, students who, or people who are interested in psychology as a career. There are like highlights that I think about in my career that really shaped me to be the professional that I am. And early in my career, I was working at a community college in Jersey, and I had this grant program, and the program was I was like social worker / counselor for families in these two homeless shelters in Newark, New Jersey. And prior to this job, I had never been in a homeless shelter. I didn't even know what that meant, what it looked like. What? Shelter, homeless. Like, that wasn't my life experience. So I went into that job not really knowing what to expect. And remember, this is in the 80s. This is when crack addiction had hit the streets, the cities really hard. It was crack and the AIDS epidemic. And it wasn't a time where the government was saying, oh my God, we have to help, these people. They're addicted to crack cocaine. We need programs to help them. No. The mindset of the government at that time was lock them up. Lock them up. You're an addict, you getting locked up. Nobody was talking about treatment. It's either get yourself off these drugs or go to jail. Now, 30 years later, we're in the opiate crisis, which is affecting more whites than blacks. And now, not only does the government want to help opiate addicts, they want to supply their needles. Damn near want to give them their opiates. That's another video. But anyway, so I'm working at this. So it's I know what my assignment is. I'm going to be working at the shelter as a counselor. Now, how they got the families to participate, which were usually women with multiple children. You know, nobody had just 2 kids. Everybody had 3, 4, 5, 8, 9 kids, right? So the way they got them to come to participate in my program was that they would get closer to getting their Section 8 voucher. So they come through my 10-week program, and I provided psychosocial groups, self-esteem, managing your food stamps, whatever. And no one, and I didn't have a roadmap to this. I developed this as I went along. But for whatever reason, I kind of knew, and the social workers there told me like what were some of the needs of the people. And so I built psychosocial groups around what their needs were. But here's where I learned the biggest lesson. When I got there, I remember like my first day when they were gonna meet me, and they had like so I would go to the shelter. The shelter was like, it almost looked like a hotel. That's what reminded me. That's what brings this memory back, because it looked like a hotel. So each family had their own like 1-bedroom apartment. I don't care if you had 5 kids, you had a 1-bedroom apartment or 2-bedroom. And they had a kitchen, bathroom, all of that. So the first day I get there, when I got my whole group is in front of me. Now mind you, I'm probably 24, 25 years old. And some of them were probably my age. Many of them were my age, honestly. Many of them were my age, but they had, multiple kids, and they were in the situation where they were homeless. So anyway, I've never been the type to think I'm better than anyone else. Never been like that. Never. So I didn't go in with that attitude like, I know I'm better than these people. Because believe me, they would have read that in my ass so quick and dismissed me even quicker. So I didn't go in like that. It's a fine line, anybody, new students that are thinking about this field. It's a fine line. You can't have this attitude that you're better than your client, but they need to believe that you have something that they couldn't use. And I mean like your knowledge. Like you better come in here smarter than me, and I hate to say it like that, but I need to know that you're going to be able to help me. I need to know that you're going to be able. So I don't want you to be like I am, or feel like you need to act like I act, or talk like I talk, or do the things that I do, because I can get that from this lady who's sitting next to me who's also homeless. I need you to come in to this situation with some information, some help. That's what I want. So I learned that. Like, I don't need to fit in. And I knew I wasn't going to fit in. Look, I'm from another part of New Jersey. I have a country accent. Y'all know right off the rip that I don't even sound or speak like y'all do. So you know I'm not from around here. But anywho, so the first day I go in, I have this sadness. Like, I'm like, hello. I'm glad to be here. I know you all are sad because you're living in this shelter. But I'm here to help you. I didn't say it like that, but that's how it must have come across to them. They looked at me and was like, girl, I love it here. Like, I'm good. They was like, we good. Like, I had no idea, like, what had happened to them until they finally got placed in a shelter, and they could stay 1 year in an apartment that was stable. Prior to getting this apartment that was a shelter, they were living in their cars. They were living under bridges. They were living in abusive sexual relationships. They were living in physically abusive relationships. They were living, taking their kids from place to place. Some of them had lost custody of their kids, couldn't get them back until they got in the shelter. They all started telling me what their experiences were before they landed at this shelter that was giving them help, that was going to keep them there for a year, that if they completed the program, they would get permanent housing vouchers. They were so happy. And that's what I talk about when I say you got to meet people where they are at. You got to meet them where they are. And I wasn't doing that. I was meeting them back where I thought they were. Sad, scared, helpless, hopeless. My mindset was back there. They was like, no, baby. We good right now. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel, baby. We good. That changed my whole dynamic. In working with those families, I'm like, they got a charge in them. They ready to hit go. They ready we gonna take off. They got a charge in them right now. They ready to meet goals and set goals, and that is exactly what my experience was with them. They were on fire, and they wanted to make changes and differences in their life, and to be able to give their kids stability, which they were able to do. And 95% of them graduated that program with some sort of certificate in CNA, or working for the city, or working in childcare. They all, I did that program, I think 2 years, and the only ones that probably weren't successful had addiction issues, had an addiction, and that was not a lot of the families, but it was definitely something that we were dealing with in that shelter. But I was just telling that story because just watching those people asking for money at the light, and reminded me of that shelter. So you never know where they are, as far as, you see somebody I see homeless people asking for money or something like that. They could have been, 5 years clean, 2 years clean, a month clean. And, by asking, people for money, they're not out robbing people for money. You know what I'm saying? So I think the moral of my story is, don't make assumptions about people. Don't make assumptions, because and a lot of times you're probably wrong. You are probably wrong. So anybody that's ever worked with me, I don't know, some of my old clients from back in the day, back in the 90s, if you lived in a shelter in Newark, New Jersey, I could have been your counselor. I don't even remember the name of the shelter. Next time I'm in that area, though, I'm going to go and check and see if it's still there. I might do video, just to show you guys where it is. But, yeah, it was 2 different shelters. But the main one, the big one, was right by, whatever the hospital is, the major big university hospital that's in Newark on South Orange Avenue, I think. I don't remember. It's been so long since I lived in that area. But yeah, so that's that. Thank you guys. And I will see you in the next video.